Number 79, what attracts spirit to some people? That's the subject of today's video. As always, please like it, comment on below, click the subscribe button. All of those things help other people to see these videos. I have to say these are just my musings. This video is going to be about things I've wondered about this subject rather than an answer to the question that I'm posing. I've had, and so what made me think of this is that I've had mediumship experiences my entire life, but I didn't know what that was when I was a child and even as a young adult. It's glaringly obvious now. It was not obvious at the time what was happening. And so people in spirit have always been a part of my life, always. And I believe, as I've said, that everybody has someone in spirit or many someones in spirit within proximity of them at all times. I feel like they're always with us. But I also feel like there's some people, they're more involved with some people than others, like mediums and potential mediums. And by potential medium, I believe anyone can do mediumship. I've also said that, and I mean it. But I mean that in the way that anyone can make a sound on a piano. Some people can make it, anyone can make a sound on it. Some people play really well. And so mediums and potential mediums, I feel like people in spirit are more attracted to us. They're more involved with us. So that's what I mean by the question on this video. And thinking about it, for me personally, decades ago in Los Angeles, there was a man named Thomas Jacobson who used to channel someone named Dr. Peebles. If you know who Dr. Peebles is or Thomas Jacobson, I know I'm dating myself. But what he was doing was transmediumship. They didn't call it that. It was channeling. It was called a channeling session. And so I got to go see that a couple times, and Dr. Peebles, through Thomas Jacobson, and other psychics before and after this, had told me that people in spirit are attracted to me, but no one ever used the words mediumship, and no one ever said, you're a medium. I see a lot of mediums interviewed, and someone at some point in their life had said, you're a medium, you should develop this. Like, no one ever said that to me. So, but did acknowledge that there were people in spirit around me. So back in the 90s, I went to this, I was very young, I went to this public event where someone was channeling, Thomas Jacobson was channeling Dr. Peebles. And they would pull names out of a little bag at random because everybody wanted to talk or ask a question. So I happened to be one of those people. And I asked about these strange experiences I've had all of my life that I've talked about in other videos. People in spirit affecting things in my home, for example. And he had said, well, I remember the exact wording at one point he said there that he said, your light shines brighter for them than other people. And that was an interesting way of phrasing it. I'm more noticeable to them because that they are there is just a fact for me. And the reason for that is I hadn't told anyone this at that time, but the reason the spirit world is just a fact for me is the Hopi influence, the Hopi Native American influence on my upbringing. And so for me, I've always believed in a spirit world the way I have always believed in a microscopic world of microbes. And it's just a fact. And just like you can't see or hear or smell or taste or touch or aware of being touching microbes or the microscopic world, but it's real just the same. For me, the spirit world has always been like that. And nothing special, just factual, just a part of our existence. So I've never rationalized, and I think this is really important, I've never rationalized away when weird things have happened to me. And I don't always have an explanation, but I don't say to other people who witnessed something or on my own, oh, that didn't happen. Like I don't. And I've actually been with people where something very, very paranormal has happened and they've been like, that didn't happen, or you did that, or that kind of thing. It's weird. I've never done that. I've always been very accepting of strange things happening, whether or not I had an explanation for them. And I think it's that very matter-of-factness that keeps attracting them to me. So I think that when people in spirit do make the effort to touch someone's life and they keep rationalizing it away, I think at some point people in spirit go, okay, we're going to be reunited. Like time means nothing to them. And eventually we all get reunited in that world. And so they just wait and they stop doing things. But when you do acknowledge it, they keep, participating in your life. So I've said, for example, that if you are a medium, your life experience does affect your readings. And so an example of why someone in particular was attracted to me once I was in this practice circle, I very suddenly had this man really clearly. And what I was aware of, A, that he was a man, and B, that he was wearing a white button-down shirt, short-sleeve shirt. And if anyone else in that circle had gotten that, they might have just said, white short-sleeve shirt. That doesn't really mean anything, right? But I knew that what he was wearing, because half of my family is Mexican, I had only seen that kind of shirt worn by Mexican men. It's called a Guayabera shirt. I didn't even know what it was called at the time. I just knew that it was a grandpa shirt to me, is how I thought of it. And immediately someone in the circle understood that because their loved one was known for wearing exactly that. So that was an easy, I think he was very attracted to me in that little group that we were in. That was an easy reference for me to get. And I didn't even get him as Latino, but I got his style of dress as Latino. So I knew that I had a Latino male. I knew he was wearing that shirt, and it turned out he wore them all the time. So that kind of thing, where they're attracted to you as a medium, or just attracted to you in your life through even similarity of life experience. But I really believe it's my matter-of-fact attitude about a spirit world that makes me very attractive to them. So, what if you didn't grow up influenced by Hopi Native American culture? And you're still having these experiences? What if you grew up really religious or really staunchly atheist, and you still have these interesting experiences with people in spirit? What explains that? I really believe that it's not even believe, I just feel like I know this. I think it's a little arrogant to say I know this, but I know this. We are all spiritual beings having a temporary physical life experience. This is the temporary world. And so when mediums connect with someone in spirit, connect with people in spirit, that's us. That's what we all are for most of our existence. And I don't know why we forget, when we come into a physical body, I don't know, that's a whole video on itself, the whole forgetting that larger part of our existence. But we do. I believe everyone goes out of body while they are sleeping, and they're participating in that other world while they're asleep. Some of it we remember. Some of it we rationalize as dreams. Some of it is just dreams related here to physical life, the brain firing, but a lot of it I think is interactions, and a lot of it we don't remember. And I just want to point out, for example, that if on average, if people get 8 hours of sleep a day, which is a third of a 24-hour day, right? Someone who's 80 has been unconscious for 27 years, roughly. Been asleep for 27 years, right? So I applied that to myself, and I realized I've been asleep or unconscious longer than my teenage nephews have been alive. So that's kind of weird. So that's a lot of time to just spend doing nothing, and I really think we spend that time in the spirit world, and we're largely unaware of our travels and what's going on there. But it happens, and we continue to not remember. And I really believe once we're free of this body and we rejoin that world, that there's this, I remember this, or like we'll remember things that we've been doing all along. So never mind mediums, regular everyday people, just everybody in a physical body, I think for the most part is unaware of their ongoing relationship with spirit, with the spirit world, with themselves, that larger part of themselves. I now call it that larger part of myself. When I was a little boy, I told my mom, bigger me. I used to call it bigger me. That was the words that I found as a child. But there's this participation in the spirit world that we're largely unaware of, and usually when we're asleep. So most people, especially non-mediums, are largely unaware of that. And I think that until you do discover something like mediumship, or you're developing mediumship, you stay unaware of that. I already acknowledged the spirit world. I already grew up with that as a fact, the way microbes are a fact, right? The unseen as a normal thing, as a normal fact. But even for me, since becoming a medium and doing this for a few years now, my relationship with that world and with people in spirit has changed and has grown in ways that I didn't expect. So for example, when I'm just in weird little everyday ways, when I'm driving, I often will feel my father and or my mom's mom with me. And it's really funny when I get them together at the same time in my car, because they never got along. And I don't know why it's those two. I've got almost 70 people in spirit, but those two, either individually or together, show up a lot while I'm driving or stuck in traffic or that kind of thing. And I do know my grandmother was a very good driver. She was proud of that. But anyway, so that happens. But previous to mediumship, I even though I believed and knew there was a spirit world, I wasn't aware always of people with me, and I certainly wasn't aware of specifically who it was that was with me. And now I am. So that's kind of cool for me. It's a good experience. The more, I want to end the video by saying this, the more you acknowledge people in spirit and don't rationalize away strange experiences, the more they will continue to show up in your life. And it's nothing to fear. It's never, ever something to fear. I've only had neutral or very positive experiences with people in spirit, like the decades when I knew nothing about mediumship. All of it was neutral or positive for me. Next week, I want to talk about reluctant skeptics. And this might be a video to share with your loved ones. If you have someone who really loves you, who knows you're a medium and they're not cool with mediumship or even psychic phenomenon, this might be the video to show them. Because I recently was reading, just coincidentally, about a medical condition that tens of millions of people have, and they can't do a really simple mental thing that most people can do. And I compare that to mediumship, where just because you can't do it doesn't mean that I can't or that it's not real. So I want to talk about that, reluctant skeptics. Until then, thank you for watching this time. See you next time. Have a great week. And yeah, talk to you later.